Hi everybody, this is Michael Quantz with the Brownsville Society for the Performing Arts. We're here with one of our marvelous featured guest artists, Gaëlle Solal, who is joining us to present her beautiful and unique take on playing solo guitar in front of giant rooms full of people. And Gaëlle, thank you so much for being with us, and welcome to Brownsville and the Brownsville Guitar Festival.
Oh, thank you so much.
It's our pleasure to have you here. And you know, we were talking on the way from the airport about watching and binging videos during the lockdown. And last night I had just a few minutes to just kind of chill, and I watched an episode of a show that I enjoy. And there was this couple, a young man and lady, who were opening a restaurant, and the first night was for their friends, and it was a lot of friends, and they were very intense about everything, especially the young guy. And he went into the kitchen to pick up a plate of food from the chef, who was the lady, and he looked very concerned, and she handed him the plate and looked at him and said, "You will not serve my food with that face."
Oh, wow.
And immediately I thought of you.
Oh my God.
Because the way you serve your art, your music from the stage, is with a totally different face compared to other artists. Was there a moment, an epiphany, when you decided that you were gonna just allow yourself to be more joyful from the stage?
Yeah, I have to admit there was a transition, because when I was younger, I was kind of taught, like, you can't move, you can't do that, you can't, like, that was the word. It was either underlined or implied or said, and of course, smile on stage. No way. Or smile while you are playing. There is no way I could do that. And the more I practiced, the more I kind of became really dry and just did things very professional. And I had the feeling that was the way, because it's what I could see in concert. And I was just like, okay, that's the way. And then I did this travel to Brazil, to Rio de Janeiro. And I saw everyone enjoying, either on stage or at like more intimate place. And I was like, everyone is just smiling and enjoying together and laughing. And I was like, that's really cool. Why can't I do that also? And then I really figure out, like, I want to be the same person on stage, outside, and like just one and single Gaëlle, just gather all my different personalities into one thing. And I think, because I don't want to hide, I don't want to be someone you see on stage. And of course I'm better dressed than right now, but it's just a costume, but I'm the same person inside. And I'm like, I don't want to be divided in different persona. So that was a big change. And I can see people sometimes are really like, still like this, you can't sing, but still, but that's nice. So I can see people divided about this. I have to say, I don't compare myself to someone else, because this is exactly, so you can see I am the same here and as I will be tonight on stage. So I don't want to compare, but I feel we should be honest about who we are, what we think, and if something funny happened in the hall tonight, I will grab it. I had this once, like someone nearly died, like coughing in one concert, and I was like, oh, let's stop. Are you okay? It's just like checking with people, because this is real life. So we were not just like informal, like just playing. It's not a CD.
Exactly, and somebody having a coughing fit in a classical guitar concert tends to be a shattering event. It's not a moment where some person gets taken to task. It's just a moment of concern, maybe.
I know, yeah, totally.
Yeah, and so you also have this duo with Boris, Crazy Nails.
Yes.
And it seems like this was an outgrowth of this realization about yourself as a musician and as a person.
Yes, totally. It helped me a lot, because we were trained during many years into clown. And also like theater and improvising and many things. And it helped me also relate to the stage in a different way. So just when you get in, like, to sense where you sit on the stage, who you look like. And also what we say, like, on stage you have this fourth wall. And in classical music, it's really like, really there, really. And in the clown scene and any theatrical, you try to break it. So when you learn some techniques to break it, then it feels very natural to be on stage and just break it and connect. Try to connect with people who want to be connected.
The first time I saw Crazy Nails was at the GFA, of course, Guitar Foundation of America. And what was the kind of response that you got after that? Because I was in the audience and I saw an amazing variety of responses, most of which was people shocked because they didn't understand having so much fun on stage. So what kind of reactions did you get?
So we had all of them. So we had some people who said, I would not come to the show. So they didn't even care to come, which is good. It's better if you're not going to enjoy, so just stay home. Then we had some people on the other extreme who just laughed so much, like their belly was hurting, and they were like, I want to be on stage with you. I want to learn this. So some people were just like, completely crazy about it. And we had, all kind of like, why would you do that? And so it's like, but it really triggered people into like, well, this is a different genre. It's not a concert, it's more a show. And we make fun, not of you, we make fun of us first, and of also the guitar world, the competition setting. And it was fun to do it at GFA, especially because there is a competition like on the side, a huge competition. And from the competitors, we got like, they were the most enthusiastic, because we have this part where I play like a competition, playing as fast as I can, and the bumblebee, and with a sport way, and with Boris being
breaking
my coach.
Your speed record.
Exactly, with a chronometer and everything. And people were like, oh wow, we've reached that point. So it's important to have some auto-derision about what we do and to do it properly, but still not to take it so seriously that it just, as I said before, like dry you from inside, and with all these rules.
Yeah, and it becomes the culture of the profession, right? You get into a competitive mindset, and then there are certain training regimens that we go through, and certain expectations, and be careful when you play the Bach.
I know,
because you're gonna get so many different responses. But it from your concerts and your videos and your recordings, you still present a depth of and breadth of emotion, from sentimentality to laments to joy. But it doesn't seem like you would have a concerned face when you serve that music.
No, I try not. So if I have a concerned face, it's because I'm struggling. So I need to practice more. No, it's like, and sometimes, most of the time, I don't, like in the show, it's a different thing, but in concert, I don't control my face. So I just play, and I don't know what I'm doing. So people say, we can see the music on your film. Like, I have no clue about that. I'm not training this.
Well, there aren't many players that do that on any instrument. I mean, I can think of only one that comes to mind, Pavel Steidl, when he's playing music from the early to mid 18th century, 19th century rather. It's a different experience, and that was really the first time I got a sense of a dramatic and joyful kind of experience from the music. Do you see other instrumentalists doing that beyond the guitar world?
Well, you have some very expressive people that, and some very dramatic. I'm thinking of Sokolov, this great pianist. But it's not only the way he plays, which he's totally into the music, but also the way he goes on stage and go back. Like, he never takes a lot of time to bow. He just bow and sit on the piano and then just leave. And then when you clap for the encore, he's never coming back. Then he runs and jumps to the. It's like, what is he doing? So he has his own way to do things, completely above the code of. But I think my line is like to say, what do I want to do with this art we are doing with music? It's like, I want to transmit, I want to share what I understood of the score, because I am an interpreter, I'm not a composer. So I do all the previous work to imagine, okay, what is going on in this piece? I have a story behind each piece, and I try to share that. That's it. Then what happens around, it's not planned, there is not a setting, it's not like so it's really more natural. So
Not so much a formula.
No, not at all. Yeah. And I think like if you just close yourself like in your face, in your body, then it's really difficult to share anything with. And also it fits to my personality. So it's also something I say, it's like I'm not acting on stage. So most of people say, oh, when I see you like in the street here on stage, it's like you are one person. And I really like that. So you can have a sense of who I am.
A kind of an unfiltered presentation of who you are as a musician on stage.
Yeah.
And you're talking about stories and your latest recording, Tuhu. We know a little bit about the story from your previous interviews that are online, the nickname of Villalobos.
Yes.
And so where did you hear the story? When did this dawn on you that there's this element of a nickname for a very famous Brazilian composer?
I know. So I was not aware like until recently, and then at some point I said, okay, I wanted to present a variety of pieces like Villalobos and every composer who influenced him and composers that has been influenced by him. So it's like this huge line of like the roots, the tree, and the fruits. And then I thought, oh, maybe I should play some Rolandien's piece.
Oh, yeah.
And then I was checking, so there was a nice homage to Villalobos, and I was checking. And the last movement is called Tuhu, and I was like, I don't know what's that. So I checked, I was like, wow, this is awesome. So then everything that I had built up, like you would make like with little pearls, and okay, I will play this and that, and then Pichinguinha, and then Villalobos, and Gismonti, and then I was like, oh, this is one line, this is two. And I really like also to connect to that childhood side of Villalobos, because I think he had a really childish spirit. Like he would find out his own way, he did everything against, he went off trails, and so it made sense to take this child nickname, and I found it also really sweet to call someone so huge by his nickname.
And somebody who conducted choirs in stadiums from a crane. That's pretty impressive for Tuhu.
Yes.
And you're speaking about that circle of influence musically and personally for Villalobos. Who have been some of the key influences in your life as a musician?
Oh, there are plenties, but I would say like and I will say that also tonight on stage, like the two most important were my first teacher, René Bartoli, when I was 6. He started me like when I was 6 until 15, so that was quite a bunch of years. And then Rolandien's was like my second mentor and person I could really rely on in the way, like when sometimes my motivation was going down, it would be the one who said, okay, you can go for it. Just all this little tap on the shoulder, you can do it. It's like, wow. And we all need that because it's a very tricky way, and being a solo guitarist is so difficult. And you have to
It's just you on stage.
Yeah, and you have to find your own way and what you want to present and how you want to present it and where, and it's and I'm not so good into self-confidence. So it's getting better, but and when you have some really nice people who say, but you are doing it well, just keep going. Just go on stage and just do it.
It seems like Roland would have been the perfect person to give you that encouragement.
Yeah.
Rolandien's was so huge an influence on
all many people I know.
All guitar world. From his personal compositions, his stunning arrangements.
Yes.
And he was breaking the formulaic mold of what was classical guitar. And it seems like that was a perfect time for him to be part of your life as well. Totally.
And I also have someone else who helped a lot, which is Brouwer. Because when I was a student in Paris in conservatorium, in my second year, like my self-confidence was really down. My teacher was not good with me, was shouting at me. It was just really bad years. And then Brouwer came for a masterclass, so I just played, like with self-confidence in minus 40 or 42. And he was like, that's good. And I was like, what? So, and then he chose me to play he did like a best student concert at the end of the week. We were only 3, and we played in a huge hall in Paris, and he was like, and he came with us backstage, and he did also this, and he was like, yeah, it's going to be great, and I was like, and since there, like every time I go on stage, I have these people just saying, Gaëlle, you can do it. So I'm not alone in the green room. Because it's important also, all this mindset, because it's a stressful way to do things, like to present yourself alone on stage and travel and figure out like time zone and stuff and just perform. It's a performing thing, so you have to be there, right? Like tonight, so the right time.
So how these experiences influence you as a teacher and mentor? What goes through your mind when you are faced with students who are encountering the same challenges?
Well, I understood, like with the years, I got a sense of how important like your words can be, your attitude can be, and not to be judging, just to say, okay, I'm here to help. Where are you right now, and what can I help? Where can I bring you to be better and also to feel better? Because I've sensed like when you go to a masterclass, you come back home with plenty, in fact. So if I can like fill this little backpack with good energy, or just like just a sense that you can do it better, but also explaining. Also, this is something my conclusion is like you have to explain a lot. You have to give a lot of tools. You have to be very generous. It's not about saying, oh, just do like me, which I've never done. But it's also saying, okay, maybe I can give you that tool and that one. Then you can use them or not. But then you have your own toolbox, and it should be like full. And then you will do whatever. But you, like with a kid, then you will use whatever. But you have all the tools, and then you can. And I always try to see, like, also because people are struggling, trying to show off also when they play, and which I totally understand because the masterclass is so difficult. And I did that when I was younger.
Of course.
And I'm just like, I want to see that show off of you. I want to see you. So if we come back to a slight different angle, just what do you want to play? How do you want to do it? What is your inside motivation of why do you like this composition? And why is it? And sometimes people play stuff they don't like. And I'm like, so you have to search for what you like. For me, it has been really the line in the last years, like, what do I want to present on stage? Like, what do I really like? Like, if I wake up in the morning and I have to practice, what is on my music stand? So I really have to like it.
That seems like a key element in developing as a musician. If you're spending a good chunk of your life with this music and investing in it with your time, your energy, your emotions, and your thinking, it makes sense to like it a lot.
A lot, but it's not what we're trained to. So we are trained to play everything and to like everything, and it's like no. It's like so. It's nice to say, okay, I want to dig into that and this, and then you don't know how, but it will make sense. And it's something I wish I could have. Some people would tell me this advice, like it would make sense at the end. So when I embraced this journey to learn also theater, clown, and I don't know, tap dancing, plenty of things, mime, beatbox. I've been learning plenty of stuff. And everyone was like, why are you doing this? I'm like, I don't know. I just want to learn stuff because I feel it makes me like full of life and rich, and we'll see. And everyone was like so suspicious, like, why? And are you going to stop playing classical guitar? And then everything like mixed up in Crazy Nails and in more stuff I'm preparing, and people are like, wow, that makes sense. Like, yeah, but no one trusted me when I said I was on the road. So, like, I don't know, after...
It was just so different.
Yeah, it's just different, and I didn't know how it would fit, but I knew I had to learn this. I didn't know why, but I had to go for it. And
it's part of the experimentation of finding out about ourselves and our reaction to different parts of ourselves and how that plays into the music itself.
Totally.
And you talk about teaching in such a way that is oriented towards service to whom you're teaching. But you also have some other ideas about service in the guitar community, especially the classical guitar community. In public school settings, for example, the larger portion of the class will be young gentlemen in the class, and rarely it will be, you know, about an equal mix of ladies and gentlemen. Don't quite know the reason for that, but you're engaged in something that I think addresses that issue of access, interests, or however. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I've built this association, it's called Gaëlle. And because my first concern was, like, a few years ago, I was invited to a convention and someone asked, like, but why there is, like, less women on the professional circuit? And someone in the audience said, oh, because there are a few, just a few. And I'm like, no, this can't be. So from that day, I made this huge list of every professional classical player in the world, and we are plenty. It's just amazing. But of course, we have not so much light. And in terms of representation, like when you see, like, in a jury or in a roster, it's like, this is problematical. But it's changing, it's evolving most of the time. And what I do, like, my main part of it, I call people and I say, did you notice, like, in the last, I don't know, 12 years, you have never hired a woman in the last? So, and people are like, oh, so most are like, no, oh yeah, I didn't get it. So they're like, oh, wow. So sometimes it's not
making them aware of the situation.
It's like, oh, okay, I was not aware, so that's the way they can change. And I've seen people change, and then they check, they're like, okay. And I see now in the programmation, they're adding, so at least one or two, so it's, wow. Then some people are just like, no, I don't see. I just call people with quality. I'm like, thank you.
Well, obviously, it's not a gender-restricted ability.
I know.
And maybe they should call both genders. And I think you're right. Not just in particular parts of the classical guitar world geographically, but I think it's just ubiquitous. It's all over.
Yeah.
Being aware of that is important, not just for the obvious social benefit and professional benefit and the benefit to the art, but I think it's even more important for all the young folks, and we're talking really young folks, who see people like themselves on stage.
Totally. This is the other part, like the role model thing, because you can't become a professional of something if you don't imagine yourself doing it. So imagining yourself is also seeing someone similar to you doing it. So it helps you. It doesn't mean you can't do it, but it helps you a lot. So the more you see women on stage, the more for the younger generation it's going to be easy. And also the last part of the association is to check. We are trying to get some funds to do some statistics to check why you see some people in the studies and they're just like, where are they? Like, where are they? Where did they disappear? Why they never do the first CD? Why they don't apply to jobs? Why? So about jobs we know, but it's the more general study, like women need to be like double prepared to even apply to a job. And it's in any kind of situation. So in guitar it's the same. And I've seen that in my colleagues. I'm always like, why didn't you apply? They're like, well, I thought, you don't just apply. Just what are you doing? So it's a whole society matter, but I'm going to try to check why in guitar people at some point just stop it.
So are you thinking about contacting more presenters as part of this formula and developing this ability to develop your data?
Yes, the idea is to have a huge, so now the database is getting bigger and bigger, and at the beginning I was doing it, so I was picking all the websites and doing a list, and now I've developed like a database where everyone can get into it, like upload their own photos and update everything. So, but it's getting time until people do it, because it's way easier when someone else do it for you.
And it's all, and as they say, many hands make the work lighter.
Yeah.
So I wish you all the best with your efforts, especially in your quest to open people's eyes to things that benefit everyone in a very important way. And speaking of benefiting, just for selfish reasons, the benefit to us, obviously, is to hear you play as well. And so can you tell us a little bit about what you're going to play tonight?
Oh yeah, tonight I will present two, so my last CD. So it will be a mix of Villalobos composition and also a composer who influenced him. I've chosen Edelson Nazareth, who was a huge influence on Villalobos. They were even together in France. He was his teacher of popular music. And then I will play also people who have been influenced by Villalobos, which is basically every Brazilian composer. Right. But like Rolandiens, Egberto Gismonti, Garotto. So yeah, so it's a mix, and the line also I will speak during the concert. And I will explain also my journey or how I built this program and why it's so important to me. And it's something I've built with the help of a friend, Caroline. She's a stage director, because she went to plenty of my concerts and she was like, I like your way to talk, but it's very improvised, and maybe it would be nice to kind of imagine where you can talk, how you mix things together, and if you play one piece and talk, or two or three. And I was like, okay. So we worked together, and she helped me like to have really a red line into the whole
So
recital.
it integrates the
Exactly.
communications verbally with the art of the presentation.
Yeah, exactly, and just say, okay, now I play and I don't stop, and I just go to the next piece, and I imply to the audience that they don't have to clap. So, but so you can understand it's not now, it will be later. So we worked a lot on that, and I really think it really has a lot, because it makes things just fit all together. It's not a show, but it's more like it's really prepared. So
the whole thing is a presentation.
Exactly. So and you just get into it. You take your tickets, and then I will leave you at the end. So that's
Not
the
going to
plan.
follow you home to
like,
try and explain what I just did.
Yeah, exactly. So it's the idea also to grab people's attention from the start to the end, because also just with the guitar and with a few words, and to have people really into it, like also with the dramatic now piece, like which is slower now. So it's really important. I'm really into it now to really think more, really like in globally how I can make it even more appealing, attractive, and also because we all have less concentration than before COVID. This is obvious. So you have to grab people.
Well, it clearly deepens the meaning of the presentation when people have some guidance, some context of your journey and putting these pieces together and the reasons for it.
Exactly.
And it always makes the presentation much more fulfilling. So Jonathan, our audience, has just asked Gaëlle, what do you do on those days when you just don't want to pick up the guitar? You're just not feeling it. What do you do?
First, I have to say, like, there are plenty of days like this. So this is also something I see around. We never talk about this thing. People are always like, yeah, we are practicing. It's like, come on, some days just like you can't. You have personal trouble, professional stuff. So your mind is hectic, and sometimes you are just lost, which happens a lot. What I do is a very simple thing. So I have this little kitchen clock called Pomodoro, and I just set it on 25 minutes. And I say, okay, today I will not practice, I will just do 25 minutes. So I have my clock on the music stand, and I just force myself to sit on the chair and pick my guitar. And I do 25 minutes. And then when it rings, I just have to take my guitar out. And by the time I'm already in, I'm just like frustrated to stop. And I'm like, okay. Then I do 5-minute break, and then I'm back on track. So it's a small thing that helps me. Also something I recently implemented in my practice, like before I stop, like in the afternoon, I do something and I'm solving something, and I'm like, okay, I stop. So I just make a red circle, let my guitar there, and then I go and do my stuff and family stuff and this, and I go to bed. And in the morning I'm like, I want to solve this. So I'm waking just excited because I let something, like waiting for me.
Unresolved.
And I'm like, and I could have done it, like with a bunch of, and it's just like, and you already know what you're going to do as a start, because the most difficult part is how you start the practice. And sometimes if you start from scratch, it's impossible. Like emotionally or this. So this clock thing plus this unsolved thing, it's just like, Then I do all kind of tricks to my mind. I have like this big calendar where I write when I have like 3 days where I can practice, because also a lot of traveling and doing stuff. And then I'm like, okay, I want to build this new repertoire, so I have, okay, not that much. Okay, so then, and I make, like, so it's like mind tricks to just help you get into it. And when you get into the flows, then you can follow, but it's just like, ugh. And something else I do, which really helped me, is just sometimes I don't even take breakfast. I just jump onto the chair to do just the start of the day. This helps a lot, because otherwise you are doing breakfast, checking this, checking the news. Maybe I should do a laundry. It's like, what? Cleaning some stuff which is already shining. We all do that, and you hear that of many artists. They do plenty of stuff instead of doing what we have to do.
Convenient excuse not to do.
Yeah, so it's like, And sometimes I do also some things that help me a lot. I said, okay, you will work from 9 to 3, and it's like a job. Mm-hmm. And I say, you start at 9, you finish at 3, you have 1 hour break to have some food. That's it. And sometimes I have to force myself to do it. And at some point you get just joy, sometimes you don't, but you do what you have to do. And so, it's very important not to mix, because it's a passion job and it's a vocation. Mm-hmm. It doesn't mean it's happy every day. And it doesn't mean it's easy. And of course we have procrastination. Of course, sometimes I'm like, I need to prepare this, like I just have 2 days. And so you have to know yourself and trick yourself to find. And what is most helpful is to do it when you are into the flow, like every day, and you force yourself every day, then it becomes really easy.
More of a habit then.
Yeah. And it's become like, okay, it's what I do. And you don't think that much like, oh, it'd be nice, or no. And also this breaking little things in, okay, I have to solve this and that, and it's going to suck for a while, but I will practice it. And
well, even the greats in other arts, Mikhail Baryshnikov did an interview with 60 Minutes decades ago, and the question was, well, haven't you just like been so impassioned about this art of ballet? And I said, no, it's so much work.
Oh yeah,
I do it because I do it.
Yeah,
but it's work.
Yeah, and you can see it like in dance. They do like the bars, they do all the exercise, and sometimes I want to play this. Like, no, let's go back. Let's do some slurs. Easy going, and what I found really helpful in the last year, I have like a guitar jogging partner. So she's a good friend of mine, and we do Zoom. She's living in Portugal, so we have like same time, nearly the same time zone, and we say, okay, let's work on slurs, and then we we do this exercise together. We cut the sound, we let the video, and we're like, and then, okay, let's do it faster. Okay, click. And we kind of meet like 2 or 3 times a week on Zoom, 1 hour, and we do technique.
Well, maybe that could be a suggestion for motivation too. I mean, Zoom is
so good,
at hand for everyone.
Yeah.
Maybe you should have a practice buddy.
Yeah, practice buddy is just, for me, it changed my life. And her, because sometimes we're just so into like, family things and stuff. And it's like, okay, this is something out of the world. And after this, I'm like, okay, bye. And now I do my own practice, but I'm into it. And sometimes to share with someone, okay, this is tricky, like 3, 4, and she's like, this is tricky for me too. And then we're like, oh, we are better than yesterday. Okay, let's continue. And I don't know, you feel less alone, because in this society and also being a solo player, it can be really like heavy. No, really, it's like on your mental health. Yeah. So, but that makes it fun, and you need to find someone you trust, or you can say, okay, I don't know how to do that. And for me, many people ask us like, can you open this class to everyone? I'm like, not at all. It's just somewhere we are vulnerable, and somewhere we can, because people also have this idea like at some point that when you are on a beautiful roster, that how to play everything, which is so wrong. So we know a bunch of it because it's a long time we are doing it, but plenty of stuff we still don't know how to do it, and we are improving. So this is
still discovering.
Yeah, the beauty of it. But if you have someone you can trust and say, with you, I don't have to say like I know everything. Like this, I don't know. It's really nice. Then you feel I improved. So it's a great feeling, and I think plenty of little things. But it's not easy. You need to be really to have a strong mind to do this kind of passion job, and it's
perhaps a little obsessive.
For me, I think it should never become obsessional. Otherwise, it loses the fun of it. Yeah, but it's a thin line. It's a thin line. It takes a lot of space. Like I would say, like in my life, guitar is taking plenty of space.
Yeah.
Like really, it's like because it's not this job you can just say, okay, I'm on it. No, it's like I'm, cutting carrots and I'm like tickety, and I'm thinking about what I just practiced and this unsolved passage I have to do tomorrow.
You're solving it while cutting carrots.
I am trying.
It's been tremendous hearing your journey musically and worldwide, and we greatly appreciate your being here.
Oh, thank you.
And we're so looking forward to your concert tonight and dinner afterwards, and the next day going to the airport, and all of those things that are part of this journey. Thank you so much, Gaëlle.
Thank you so much, Michael. I'm so looking forward for tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching this BSPA video. Go ahead and hit like and subscribe if you like what you see. And if you really like what you see, go ahead and go to our website, brosoperformingarts.org, and smash the donate button. And then we'll really like you too.